Welcome back to The Explainer. So today we're diving into something that, let's be honest, drives pretty much all of us crazy at some point. We're breaking down the actual biology of fat burning. No fads, no guesswork, just the raw, science-backed mechanics of how your body actually works, based on the source material. Let's get right into it.
I mean, why is belly fat so incredibly stubborn? You know the drill. You do the crazy high-intensity cardio, you eat way less, maybe you even basically starve yourself for a few days, and then you look in the mirror and that stubborn belly fat is literally just sitting there, right? It is beyond frustrating, but we need a quick perspective shift here. Your body isn't some stubborn enemy out to ruin your physique. It's actually a highly optimized survival machine. And since it's a survival machine, it plays by strict biological rules. The absolute golden rule of fat loss, the energy deficit. Simply put, this is just a state where your body needs more energy to get through the day than it's getting from the food you're eating. See, your body will always use food calories as its primary fuel source first. It's only when those run out that it's biologically forced to, break into the emergency reserves, your stored energy.
So here's our biological roadmap for today. We'll start with number 1, how fat burning actually works. Then 2, the belly fat vault. 3, the spot reduction myth. 4, the high-intensity illusion. 5, fat loss versus weight loss. And finally, number 6, the sustainable solution.
All right, let's dive into section 1, how fat burning actually works. When people talk about fat just disappearing after a good sweat session, they're kind of missing the biological sequence of events. Here's how a fat cell actually shrinks. First, calories from your meals are burned up. But when those run low, because you're eating a bit less or moving a bit more, your body panics just a tiny bit. It needs alternative energy, right? So it signals your fat cells to release their stored energy to meet that deficit. Over time, as this supply and demand cycle keeps happening, those physical fat stores literally shrink. But if it's just supply and demand, why does the belly hold on for dear life? Let's look at section 2, the belly fat vault. Think of your body fat like a literal bank vault. Fat on your arms might have, say, 1 lock, but your belly vault, it's got 3. Lock number 1 is genetics. Just like you inherit your eye color, your DNA dictates where you prefer to store fat. It's usually the belly for guys and the hips and thighs for women. Lock number 2 is blood flow. The belly naturally gets far less blood flow, meaning way fewer fat-burning signals actually reach the area. It's kind of like trying to drain a swimming pool through a tiny garden hose instead of a massive fire hose. And the third lock, receptors. These receptors are fascinating. They act exactly like traffic lights on your fat cells. You've got beta receptors, which are the green lights, telling your body, yep, go ahead, burn this fat for fuel. And then you have alpha receptors, the red lights, yelling, nope, not yet, hold on to this for emergencies. And unfortunately for us, the belly has a massively higher concentration of red lights than green ones. That is exactly why your face and your arms will lean out first, while the belly just absolutely refuses to cooperate. Which brings us straight into section 3, the spot reduction myth. So let me throw this out there. Do crunches burn belly fat? I mean, it sounds completely logical, right? If the fat is right there in my stomach, I should just hammer my stomach to burn it off. Well, actually, scratch that. It's just not how fat loss works. Look, every crunch, every sit-up, every agonizing minute in a plank, you are absolutely strengthening the abdominal muscles underneath, for sure. But it does literally nothing to tell your body where to pull the fat from. Your body independently decides where to burn fat based entirely on the genetics, the blood flow, and the receptors we just talked about. You can do thousands of crunches and build incredible muscle, but it won't melt the fat vault covering it. If targeted workouts aren't the magic bullet, people usually assume they just need to go harder. So let's look at section 4, the high-intensity illusion. Here's why the go harder mindset is biologically flawed. When you do a super high-intensity workout, like all-out sprints, your body is under massive stress and it needs immediate, fast energy. So what does it do? It bypasses the fat entirely and burns glycogen, your stored carbs, because they're just way faster to metabolize. But when you do lower-intensity exercise, like a zone 2 walk where you can actually hold a normal conversation, your body has plenty of oxygen. And in that oxygen-rich state, it relies heavily on stored fat for its fuel. Plus, sprinting leaves you totally exhausted and ravenous, making it super hard to do every single day. The real biological secret here, workouts have to be consistently repeatable for months. And honestly, none of this matters without a consistent calorie deficit to force the fat usage to begin with. This is where getting rid of the guesswork is an absolute game changer.
Our source points out that digital tracking tools, specifically highlighting Cal AI, can seamlessly log your meals and macros using just photos and barcode scans. By making tracking that effortless, holding that required biological deficit actually becomes sustainable.
Let's move on to Section 5, fat loss versus weight loss. When people are just obsessed with making the number on the scale drop, they slash their calories, they skip meals. But remember, your body is a survival machine. When it senses that kind of severe food scarcity, it doesn't think, oh, sweet, we're on a diet. It thinks famine. And its internal biological monologue immediately becomes, what can I get rid of right now to save energy? Biologically speaking, muscle is incredibly expensive to maintain. It burns calories every single day just by existing. Fat, on the other hand, is cheap. It just sits there as emergency backup. So if you slash your calories without listing weights or getting enough protein, your body protects that cheap fat and burns the expensive muscle to save energy. Sure, you lose weight, but you end up just looking like a smaller, softer version of yourself. True fat loss, though, forces the body to burn fat for fuel while preserving the muscle, and that results in a lean, aesthetic physique.
So, crash diets? Out. Sprinting until you puke? Out. Endless crunches? Definitely out. Let's look at Section 6, the sustainable solution.
The real answer is building a sustainable framework around how your body actually prefers to operate. Step 1. Walk for 10 to 15 minutes immediately after every meal. This soaks up the blood glucose that naturally spikes after you eat. Step 2. Aim to accumulate 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. Look, it's not some magical number. It's just the biological sweet spot for a high-calorie burn that won't totally fry your nervous system. Step 3. Get in 2 to 3 full-body strength training sessions a week. This sends a massive, loud biological signal to your body saying, hey, I'm still using these muscles. Do not burn them for energy. And just look at the math on those post-meal walks for a second. If you just walk 15 minutes after breakfast, 15 after lunch, and 15 after dinner, boom, you've effortlessly banked 45 minutes of prime, fat-burning zone 2 cardio every single day, and you never even had to set foot on a treadmill. To really optimize this whole system, your 2 to 3 gym sessions should focus on compound exercises. We're talking squats, rows, presses, deadlifts, because they stimulate the most muscle. Outside the gym, try to increase your NEAT, which is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically, take the stairs, pace around while you're on a phone call, and if you want to push it a bit, add 2 or 3 incline walks a week. It gives you great intensity without the crazy joint impact of running. Just remember the golden rule of the treadmill. Do not hold the handrails. Seriously, you get way more out of proper form than you do by gripping on for dear life and pretending you're hiking Mount Everest. At the end of the day, unlocking stubborn fat isn't some test of your pain tolerance. It is entirely a test of your consistency. Your body needs time to open those biological vaults. So the big question I want to leave you with today is this. Are you currently punishing yourself with a routine you're just going to quit in a month? Or are you building a fat loss system you can actually repeat long enough for your biology to change? Think about that as you plan out your week. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.